In this class we're going to look at a personal SWOT analysis. So, a SWOT analysis has been commonly used within organizations for many years. It's a standard technique. Normally we encounter it in business strategy, but we can also meet it in economics and in many other subjects, but generally speaking it crops up in business strategy. And here we're going to apply it to ourselves. We're going to apply the technique to us as individuals. It allows an organization to assess its internal and external environment. So within the business strategy context, the SWOT analysis enables the organization to look at its processes internally, how it works internally, and also its external environment, where the business is working. Now, a SWOT can be used in a personal context. You as an individual can develop your own career and personality by identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that is the anagram for SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So we're going to look at what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and so on, what your opportunities are. And we will fill out as many strengths as we can think of that apply to you, how many weaknesses apply to you, and what are your opportunities, and what are your threats, what's going on that may threaten you as well. And as I said earlier, that's what organizations tend to do, particularly in strategic contexts, to look at the strength of the organization and the weakness of the organization and so on, the opportunities and the threats, and to look at the competitors and to look at the market. And so they're applying this SWOT analysis to get a better perspective of themselves and to see what they can do to improve the situation. But as I said, we can now apply this to ourselves on a personal level. Reviewing your identity, abilities and personalities and applying it to a SWOT framework will allow you to better understand and advance yourself in your chosen career. So having worked out a SWOT on yourself, a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats analysis, having worked one out on yourself, you'll be in a better position to fix your weaknesses and promote your strengths and avoid the threats, and so you will be more aware. You're not just drifting along. You have a picture of your own abilities and what's affecting you. So let's look at this SWOT analysis. We could start with a list of strengths. You could list out what qualifications you've got. Are the qualifications academic or vocational? Are they national qualifications, or are they qualifications you've picked up within the local community? Or they're still valid, they're still good, but what is the nature of the qualification? And who validated the qualification? Look at your experience. It may be you've worked in different environments. You've worked in an engineering business, and you've worked in an insurance business. You've worked in the travel business, or whatever. Look at your experiences and look at what you've learned. Did you attend any on-the-job training? Did you attend any short courses? Did you have any particular experiences which distinguished you, made you stand out from the crowd? Did you do any presentations, or did you do something which people who will look at you and say, that was a very good experience, that was a very good, something you did was very good, and it'll be to your credit. What's your knowledge? What do you know? I mean, it's a very big question and it's very difficult to assess, but do you come across as an intelligent person, as a person who's interested in reading and promoting your own knowledge? Are you somebody who likes to acquire information and be interesting in that sense? What's your personal attitude? Do you come across as presentable? How do you dress and present yourself? Are you polite and well spoken? Have you got good manners? So look at your strengths there. What's your motivation? Are you very keen to succeed? And what are you doing to succeed? Are you really putting yourself out in order to advance yourself in the marketplace? Are you prepared to travel to work? Travel perhaps a considerable distance? Are you prepared to get the job done, even if that means putting in extra hours? I don't mean are you prepared to be exploited in any bad sense, but I'm just saying, are you prepared to get the job done? If there's an urgent task to be completed, are you prepared to make an effort to meet that requirement? And what skills have you got? Have you got a narrow set of skills that you can only do certain tasks, or have you got a wider set of skills that the organization can draw on? Can you handle certain computer packages, and at the same time can you drive a car? Can you perform various functions within the business? Can you change the paper in the photocopy machine when it breaks down? What skills have you got? And how does it make you marketable? And have you got any other attributes, for example, hobbies or interests, that may augment your application, that may add to your application for a job? Do you play cricket or football, or what's your hobby? Do you have hobbies? Do you work in a team? Do you play a team game, or do you prefer to play solitary games, looking at the internet, or reading, or what's your interests outside of work in your spare time? It all adds to paint a picture of you. It all helps to describe you, and helps the people making decisions as to whether you get the job or not to make that decision. Look at your weaknesses as well. What are your gaps in your qualifications? Recognize your gaps. Recognize that certain jobs will require certain qualifications and you don't have those. Now, are you prepared to try and get them? And what are you going to do to try and get those qualifications? Jobs may require certain experiences. You may have to have worked in the industry for several years before you can apply for a certain job. Well, you haven't worked for several years, so work your way up. Be realistic and aim to get everything in sequence so that you can apply in the future for the jobs that you want by getting the experiences today. Are there gaps in your knowledge? Not just in your qualifications. Gaps are the things you don't know how to do. You may have gone and got the qualification, but you still can't use a word processor, or you can't use a spreadsheet. So what are you going to do? Are you going to try and fix it? How are you going to fix it? What's your plan? You may have little finance or very poor finance. You may not be able to afford to do many things. So what can you do in that situation? Perhaps there's a library that you can use. Perhaps you can engage in some small group activity of similar-minded individuals trying to promote yourselves and learn from each other. A study group. And later in the local town apply to the college, and you will have quite a considerable amount of knowledge coming into that situation so that the qualification could be acquired. And it may give you time to save up, to get some sort of job, to save up, to pay for the fees. your personality needs to be looked at, and you need to speak to your colleagues and to your family and to people who know you and get them to be honest. Do you have a temper? Do you lose control? Do you get upset very quickly? Or are you just a lazy person who prefers to do it tomorrow? I will look at this situation tomorrow. I'm not doing anything today because I'm too lazy. So it's important that you seek out honest feedback from colleagues. It may upset you, but it's honest. And it's best to know the truth. Are there any other personal weaknesses that you want to, that need to be considered? And then look at what opportunities are there. The opportunities are external to you. The strengths and the weaknesses were what's inside you. These are what's under your direct control. The external opportunities, these are external events. These are outside of your control. But look at available job vacancies. Look at business opportunities. Perhaps it's possible to start a small business. And it could be a very small business. It may be just making deliveries for local shops or selling some small item. But it's a business. It's a start. It may be that you're able to look for scholarships. Some companies finance scholarships, and some government agencies even finance scholarships. Look at what academic opportunities there are. Look at what the local colleges and schools are offering, and see if there's any way of promoting yourself, that you can just take some time, a few evenings a week, to attend a course, if possible. Or is it possible to do it online? And do you have access to online facilities? Look at the available support. Who's around who can help and give advice? Are there tutors? Are there advisors? Is there an information centre? And try and check if there's any bursaries or any other sources of finance or support available. Look at the threats as well. Now the threats are, again, external. They're outside of you, so they're external. Look at potential financial difficulties. If you're thinking of taking on a course for 2 years, or you're going to study for a degree is going to be a year or 18 months on top of the HND, then what financial difficulties will that pose? Is it possible to delay it and try to work and get some savings to take it on later? So what are the potential financial difficulties that you may face in the future? Look at the government and what the government's doing in the area. The government may have run out of money on certain projects, which may cause problems in the area, may cause unemployment in the area, which may cause all sorts of hardships. Again, external to you, which may impact on you. Look at competition from rivals. You may not be the only person who's applying for a particular job. Other people may be applying for it as well. What qualifications have they got, and how desirable are they to do that job compared to you? Look at the overall economic situation. There may be a big recession in place, so that people don't have money to spend in the shops. And therefore, if you were currently working in a shop, the shop is going to take less, and the chances are it may suffer in the long run. It may even close down in the long run. And Changes in the marketplace may invalidate your skills. You may have skills at the moment, but the market's changing. Consumer requirements are changing. Products are changing. There may be more emphasis on technological skills, less on traditional skills. It depends. Now, taken together, these 4 areas constitutes your personal SWOT analysis. Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And they do give a picture of the types of situation that you are in and could confront. So it's necessary to go across these, make a note of them, and identify the weaknesses and try and fix the weaknesses. Look at the strengths and add to them, add to the strengths. Don't sit back, don't relax. Add more strengths, correct the weaknesses, look at the opportunities. Always try to be aware of what's available, and look at the threats, look at what is threatening your position, and see if you can avoid any adverse consequences. Now, successful individuals are those who have the capacity to explore their potential. So being able to perform a SWOT analysis is a good thing. Explore your potential. Explore the sort of person you are, the sort of strengths, weaknesses. Look at your opportunities, look at your threats, and explore it, and have a plan ready to fix anything that may go wrong. SWOT allows you to identify your weaknesses and threats and find solutions to overcome these problems. So you are prepared. And similarly, you're in a position to discover your opportunities and be able to maximize the returns on those opportunities, to avail of the opportunities and to maximize the returns you achieve from them. So having a SWOT is a good and desirable thing. It's something that you should put some time into to become more aware of yourself and what sort of person you are and what's confronting you. That's all I'm going to do on this topic. I'm going to leave it at that and say thank you for watching.